CATCH, which stands for Concerned About the Children of Harrisburg. Little history on NCBW. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization created in 1981 by a group of women in New York City after the turbulent civil rights movements. Currently, there are 63 chapters in 25 states with over 3,200 members. Harrisburg chapter was chartered back in 2012. We have been named a model chapter for the last 7 years, and we have the distinguished honor of being chapter of the year since 2022. Our mission, through advocacy, we work as change agents to influence policies that promote gender equity in health, education, and economic development. This event is being co-hosted by the Public Policy Committee of NCBW. If you're interested in joining us, our website is www.ncbwharrisburgpa.org. CATCH was founded in 2016 when Kia and I, who's also a co-founder, and we have Rafika and Linda Kenner, are all co-founders. We learned about a Harrisburg school district sixth grader who had gone home and committed suicide because she couldn't endure being bullied anymore at her school. He had made the community to get involved and seek solutions to address school safety issues. Since then, CATCH has been advocating for student safety, educational and achievement improvements, and overall quality education. Sorry, my phone educational benefits and opportunities that they deserve. If you're interested in joining CATCH, our email is catchofharrisburg, catchofhpg@gmail.com. Since both organizations are committed to advocacy, education, and community empowerment, we partnered and welcome you this evening to the County Prothonotary and Harrisburg School Board Candidates Forum. We encourage you to listen, ask questions, and most importantly, vote, because our ancestors died for the right to do so. A quick housekeeping note before I turn the mic over. Bathrooms are back here, both men and women. And lastly, please welcome Anna White, founder of Way with Words, our moderator for the evening. We want to thank Anna because she never, ever, ever tells us no. So, you are truly appreciated.
People pleasing. Thank you. Thank you. And they never stop asking. So I'm always appreciative of that because it's hard. Thank you guys for being here. We always encourage people to share the event. If you're on a camera, if you're saying, hey, I'm here, do you guys have any questions? People usually do their due diligence of asking their questions directly to you so that you can ask it directly to us. And that's just how everybody can get involved if they're not physically present. Want to always thank CATCH and NCBW for hosting these events. And thank you to Men in the Kitchen for always being accommodating to events that are happening in the city. Shout out to Justin in the back. And I encourage you guys to frequent this area. We want to keep businesses in the area going. Amen. And there's amazing food and drink. So if it's not today, make it another day. We're going to ask all of the candidates to come up at this time. All of them. Yep. Let's all get. And how we're going to do this is we are going to ask questions of each of the specific candidate spaces. Some of the questions are going to apply to everyone. Some of the questions are going to be specific to the positions of their candidacy. Just a way for you all to see everyone and be able to just kind of accommodate the efficiency of this intimate event. So I am going to ask that everyone provide their full name, what number you are on the ballot, and also what position you are currently running for. We're going to start to my far left.
Jamie Johnson. I am number 3 on the ballot. And what else?
What are you running for?
I'm running for school board. I'm running re-election. I did get elected 3.5 years ago. And it's been a very learning experience. And I appreciate everything that I've learned. And I value the work that I do on the school board and in the best interest of our students.
All right. Can
you repeat the question?
Oh, okay. Yep. Just your name, and what your number on the ballot is, and what you're running for, and a quick introduction.
Sure. My name's Roslyn Copeland, number 4 on the ballot, and pretty much I'm running because of the passion that I have for just our children. And I am also a mother of 3 children here at Harrisburg School District. I'm also a graduate of Harrisburg School District, so born and raised here, families here, know the ins and outs, and know, I was a part of even prior schools that we had, the old middle school. So I've seen the programs, I've seen a lot that there was a lot of more involvement to help us to stay from, doing other things outside of, school to keep us safe. So I'm pretty much just advocating and really trying to educate parents on how important it is that, it's for us to show up. And a lot of parents don't show up only when they have problems. And I was one of them parents that had a problem, couldn't get the answers. And that's what is, that's why I'm here again running for re-election. So last year was my first year actually ever, running for official seat. Never thought I would ever do it because it was just not something I thought. But the whole time I was actually fighting for my child and knowing the entire process before I actually sat in the seat. So I just thank God because it could have been, I could have won beyond, but I thought about, do I become the problem or the solution? So the solution was staying in the fight. So I'm running again for re-election because I know we want to get back into our position to make the right decisions for our children.
Thank you.
My name is Antonio Carreño, and I'm running for Prothonotary.
You know what number you are on the ballot?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Number on the ballot?
My number.
Yes. Okay, we'll find you. Number 1. Okay, well, just know.
Oh, do you mean what party is on it? Right, I'm running as a Democrat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
This is a position that has been uncontested, and we're looking to build a coalition of people that are interested in contesting these positions at this time. So this is pretty much what we're looking at, and this is one of the reasons why I have been involved in these elections, these local elections. I myself, I grew up offering services. There's a lot of things that I can say about me that probably is very interesting to speak by itself.
mm-hmm.
But as a young man, I was a teacher. And then I went on to work for the Dominican Development Foundation. And what the foundation does is that develop programs in the most needed rural community of the Dominican Republic.
Entonces eres dominicano.
Sí.
Ok, entonces voy a preguntar que salva esto para la próxima pregunta o para introducir después de las introducciones.
Muy bien.
Okay, we just had to talk. It's okay. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Matt Krupp. I'm the incumbent Dauphin County Prothonotary, number 1 on the ballot. I wanted to thank everyone for coming out tonight, especially Kia and her group Catch for hosting this important event. I'm one of your neighbors here in the city of Harrisburg. I've lived here since 2009. I don't know how many people here are familiar with Elementary Coffee, with that building.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm one of the owners of that building. We redeveloped that a few years back because we knew it was like a blight on the neighborhood. But I first got to know Kia and members of her organization while I was serving on the Harrisburg City School Board. And we really appreciate what groups like that and All You Can Inc. do for the community here. So like I mentioned, I'm actually in my second term. I'm seeking election to a third term. First got elected in 2017. As I mentioned previously, I served on the Harrisburg City School Board for 3 years before the opportunity came about to run for Dauphin County Prothonotary. I thought, given my background and experience as an attorney, it was a good fit for me because it is a public-facing, court-related position. I'm a graduate of the Widener University School of Law, right in Susquehanna Township, and prior to that, I attended the Shippensburg University of Pennsylvania. I came to Central Pennsylvania, laid down some roots here, thought it was a great fit, love living in the city, and just really happy to be here tonight, and I hope I can win your support.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to start with a pretty basic question. We do understand that civic engagement and civic education is important, so I'm going to try to stress this specific question. In your own words, can you describe the 2 or 3 different elements within your position, roles and responsibilities, and which one do you think the audience that's watching or our residents should become more aware of that they are not aware of in your position? We'll start with you.
Sure. So as far as civic engagement goes, like one of the most positive things that I think that our office provides is we host the naturalization ceremonies for new immigrants. We have one scheduled on, or new citizens, I'm sorry. One scheduled on April 16th, I believe. We have one of our largest classes of citizens that are going to be coming in. We have about 50 people coming. And it's just a really positive event to help welcome these people officially as United States citizens. We also, the Office of Prothonotary, we handle all the civil filings. It's like a records management office for the courts. And, the most important thing that we do, I think, is customer service, because we have a keen awareness that most people who come in contact with the court, regardless of what side of the aisle that you're on, it's not a positive experience. So I love getting feedback from the community whenever somebody comes in and says, hey, going through a really tough time right now, tough situation, and, just really appreciate it, how helpful and professional your staff were. The third thing is, when the pandemic came about, we tried to take measures to help, not enforce, but we tried to take measures to help just be safer for everyone. And one of my main goals when I came into that office was everything had been done by paper for many, many years. And, I had an opportunity to travel around the state and get to know other Prothonotary's offices and see what they were doing to kind of modernize. And I'm happy to say that we actually got a contract with a vendor out of York County, Pennsylvania. So we're supporting a local business, and they developed a electronic filing system from us, right? So we're trying to provide more convenience to the end users of the county, be it, pro se litigants or attorneys or their law firms. So now, because we have electronic filing up and running, we went live last April, you can file from the convenience of your own home. Okay, you don't have to come downtown to the courthouse anymore and plug the meter, come in, wait in line or anything like that. You can create an account, go in, submit your filings, and know if you're going to be approved or rejected in a short period of time. So basically, I've really stressed the positive energy that comes out of the naturalization ceremonies, our customer service, and our modernization of the office.
Thank you. La pregunta era hablar sobre qué las responsabilidades adentro de tu oficina y qué es lo que tú piensas que la persona, los residentes no saben de tus responsabilidades. Pero en inglés.
Of course. Let me just bring my information here. So I think Matt got some information very good. I'm glad to hear that they are more, trying to modernize the office. what I have in mind, if I'm get elected, and I mean no harm, but one of the reasons why I'm here is because what we're having today is a train that is totally out of control, and I think that uh, the Republican Party no longer, is committed to the people, to the American people. And this is really troubling, it's really sad, and we don't know where the country is going, as tariffs are coming up. We have been disjuncting the nation from our closest allies. It is just a wreck overall. I mean, the reckless of firing all personnel from so many different agencies is very inhumane. But we don't know where the country is going, and this is one of the reasons why I'm here. I think the Democrat needs to step forward to do the best we can do for the nation. Now, going back to your question, here I have written what I consider would be appropriate for the office, which I'm very aware of what the conditions are. For instance, number one would be transparency. Many times you have organization that, is working like this or like that, or creating favors. So this is what I will say on transparency. Just bear with me, everyone. I think we have the right. I believe in an open government. I will ensure that our office is responsive and friendly user to the public, understand the rights and how to navigate the system. Fairness and equality. No one should face barriers to justice due to financial hardship or lack of legal knowledge. I will advocate for resources that help individuals, particularly those who might not have legal representation, better understand the process and ask the support they need. This is not just about records and paperwork. It's about people. It's about making sure our government serves everyone fairly and effectively. As a Democrat, I believe in a system that works for all, not just for the selected few. I am ready to bring leadership and integrity to this office. One more. Like he has explained, the modernization and efficiency, I will work to improve the technology and digital accessibility of court records, making it easier for citizens to file and retrieve documents without unnecessary delay or bureaucratic red tape. Now, I will say one more about the office. The Prothonotary office plays a critical role in maintaining public records, processing of filings, and ensuring our legal system is accessible to all. This office might not always be in the headlines, but its efficiency directly impacts everyday citizens, business owners, families, and individuals seeking justice. Then again, like I said, thank you. Well, I will finally say I'm humbly asking for your support, your vote and your trust in this election. Together, we can ensure that the Prothonotary office is modern, transparent, and accessible to everyone in our community.
Thank you. And just as a reminder, I don't know where my timer person went. She's usually here. We want to make sure that we're answering the questions in about 2 to 3 minutes so I can get through all of the ideas. I have 11 questions. I intend to ask them all. So we're going to move on to you. Again, the question is, what do you believe, in your own words, are the roles and responsibilities of your position? And if elected, what is one thing that you think the people need to know more about your position?
So, I would, and just repeat it one more time, just to make sure. But could you repeat?
So in your own words, what is it that you're about to do,
Okay.
right? And then what is one thing that you think we should know about what you're about to do?
So I would say the one thing I would like to do is to see more, to really push to get more parent involvement. Like, I know community, but parents are so important when it comes to the other side of what's really going on when it comes to what's happening at school. Because sometimes I think as parents, we just, and COVID should have taught us a great lesson, but unfortunately it didn't affect my family as much because I was a little proactive. But just seeing the difference with children working from home versus in the actual building. So when you're sending them, I guess looking at it, sending them in the building, we sometimes think that just because they have good grades that other things are not happening. So, just using the best way to explain it is using my own experience. As a parent, I really didn't understand that until COVID actually hit, to see that it was so many things that were happening in the school and things weren't being addressed correctly. So there was a lot of things that you want answered, and everybody was more pointing the finger. So unfortunately, I know my role as just a regular job is like, okay, so I follow up. So really it's just helping parents to understand the process. So as I would say, just teaching them, make sure you're knowing where the child is, following up with their teachers, knowing who they are, because sometimes our children are coming there and they don't even have a relationship to know the child. So you got a child in the class, maybe came from another school district or wherever background, and they have no knowledge of that child. So I would say my own child, bringing them into school, he was used to being in a charter setting. And I know there's a big thing about charter versus public, but I always look at the best service, the best product. We could talk about the money wise, but we all want our children to get what they deserve.
Thank you. Guys, I can't moderate and clap, so I'm going to ask for audience participation. We'll go to Jamie and then we'll introduce another candidate.
Thank you. I appreciate what Roslyn said. I also agree. I was going to touch on that with family engagement, parent engagement. We do have engagement specialists that work for the district that kind of bridge that gap, and they're a liaison between the family and the district for the student. So definitely a lot more of that, a lot of focus on that, as well as mental health. I'm a big mental health advocate. We have a lot of different situations going on, and we're in inner city. A lot of trauma that the child, some of the students experience. So mental health and having counselors available and having resources available is a huge focus for me.
Thank you. And before we continue, we're going to introduce another candidate. Can you please state your name, what number on the ballot if you know it, and what you're running for?
My name is Brian Carter. I am number 1 on the ballot, and I'm running for to be a school board member for the Harrisburg School District for re-election.
Okay. And the question that was posed was, in your own words, can you just say what the roles and responsibilities? Okay.
My role as a school board director is to create and set policy. However, we are in receivership, so my biggest role is to advocate. Not only that, but a lot of people fail to touch base on is we need to work collaboratively with our constituents. We need to work cohesively with city council and the mayor to make changes in our community. If we have a strong school district, if we have a strong community, we have a strong school district. However, a lot of issues that are taking place in our school district, we have a lot of kids that are making it, or there's a lot of things that's spilling out from in the community inside of the school. So it's time for us to work cohesively so we can make them changes within our community. So that's one of the biggest things that I want to work.
Thank you.
Family engagement, that's very special and it's very important as well, but those are some of the main things, working cohesively with my constituents to make the changes, not only in the school district, but in the community as well.
Thank you. Okay, and this question is for the Prothonotary candidates. What specific measures would you implement to ensure that all individuals, regardless of socioeconomic status, have access to their court records and services? Start with you.
Great question. Thanks, Anna. Actually, this office already, so we have very little discretionary authority as Prothonotary, and there are strict rules in place already that requires that the office serve indigent clients. Okay, so there's an application called Informa Pauperis, which is Latin for, if somebody meets certain financial needs. So if somebody comes in and completes that application, we don't take any money from them. We submit it up to the court, and if the court approves it, all of the services provided, all the filings fees are waived for indigent clients in the community. And I apologize, what was the second part of the question?
That was the question. What would you do?
No, it was a two-part question.
Was it?
I think so.
Okay. It's my job, my question, but.
I think it was about access. Okay. So
Oh, yes. What specific measures would you implement to ensure that all individuals have access to court records and services?
So in addition to assisting individuals to receive their no-cost filing fees, the office currently, with the modernization that we got done last April with our new case management system, all of our records, unless they're sealed by court order or by statute, are available for free online. We spent the better part of a year digitizing about 20 years of electronic filings. All you have to do is go to Google and search Dauphin County Prothonotary. Click on it, and one of the top links that comes up is searchable civil records. And if you click that, it's super easy. You can do a name search, and then you can also narrow it down beyond that. But like I said, they're all available currently for free on the internet.
Perfect. Same question?
Well, I would say that in addition to what he's saying, that the office already had a system where the individual can file, later that goes on to the court and it's approved. I will think that there should be somewhat a communication, a department where you can communicate with certain individuals directly and understand their needs. Because many times, and I will say probably it's about 80–90%, people are not really aware of how to process paperwork, or they are not digital that knowledgeable, or they don't have the ability of the technology. Many probably don't even have a computer. So this individual should be assisted a little bit better than the road. Besides just, you go, you're on your own, because when you don't have resources, if you already don't have resources and you don't understand the system, more likely you're going to fail if you left alone. So I would have probably a department where this individual can, there will be a person that will orientate properly and guide them and help them to be able to get the process going on track.
Okay. For the school board candidates, and we'll start to my far left. Harrisburg City School District has been under receivership for a while. There are a lot of individuals that are disheartened. There are a lot of individuals that do not find value in even voting for candidates while we're under receivership, if we're honest, right? Because a lot of the conversation is around how the individuals that are elected don't have any real authority to do things. Nonetheless, there is still things that you all can do. while you're in office, even under receivership. I want to just ask a general question. What do you think the vision in the future of Harrisburg School District looks like? And if you are elected, how are you as a board member going to ensure that we get there?
Thank you. So while we're not a voting board currently, we are under receivership. We are looking to get out. We worked collaboratively as a board. We may not all agree. We come to a mutual agreement and decision and work together, without any kind of bickering or infighting. But so while we're not a voting board, we also do get the receiver appreciates our input, asks for input, is very transparent with us. We've also spent summer when we were to be off. We had many meetings on electing we're voting on a superintendent. So we're very involved in the interviews and selecting the superintendent for the school board. And I'm sorry, the question is,
what is your vision for Harrisburg, and what would you do? Like, what is your specific task and call to action in getting us there?
My vision for Harrisburg, for us to be a smooth running school district that has a high graduation rate, that has students. We have a lot of talent in Harrisburg. I don't want to, it's not all that. We have a lot of good coming out of the district, and I would like our district to be on the same level as area schools. I grew up outside of Harrisburg. I went to Cumberland Valley, which is a great school district. It does have a different tax base, different factors, but I would love for us to be on, CDs, CDEs. We should be on the level of area school districts, and I would love to see that. The main focus is the best interest of the school, of the students, and just seeing them excel, like I said, graduation rate, and seeing a high proficiency rate.
Well, my vision first and foremost is why I actually ran the first term, now running re-election, is to see us out of receivership. So to see us back in our position as a school district, as we see prior to me even coming on the school district, they were already in receivership for over 6 years. So to see others making them decisions for our children and really not a part or knowing, the inside of what's actually how our children are successful and how they need the support of us, but that's going to determine on us getting into our position. And I know a lot of people say, oh, it looks as if, maybe they're not ready, but how do we get ready? By waiting or making that next step. So the vision is to see us back in that position, to see more community in the school locally, and to see more money being advocated in the school. And that was one of the big programs I was elected through, like Riley Peterson, which is a program that it's an after school program. So I advocated through the 21st century, is actually how they put it is a 21st century grant, which Harrisburg didn't receive that grant for over 6 or 7 years, but I was actually advocating. We did get that grant, and that was over $500,000 towards the after school, to see more after school programs to come in. So I'm saying, trails on making that way, but I really believe we do have currently is a strong team. I think everybody's voices count, but we also gotta make it known that this is our school, these are our children, and we live here. We're from here, so we know the ins and outs. So I think it's important. The first step is to get out of receivership and to make the best decisions, because if you got one individual making that decision, it's great to sit at the table, but we're just like the community. We're getting the information, but we can only hear it and make that. And if you're aware, we can only vote on taxes, but with us in power, we have a vote.
Thank you.
So.
What is your vision for Harrisburg City as far as education? And if you're an elected candidate, what would be your call to action in getting us
My
there?
vision would be to be perfectly honest.
Just wait for me. Very passionate.
So, to be perfectly honest with you, my vision will be to continue to make sure that our board directors are educated in the role that they are trying to take on, so we can prevent ourselves from being in receivership again. That's one of the biggest goals. Another thing is to grow our district. It's time to stop settling for individuals who have been employed with the district to keep saying that they're here for our kids. When all in all, you know, some of them are only here because you can't get away with the things that you're doing now in the other districts. Our kids need to be educated, and we need to push that. We need to grow our district. We need to let these individuals know that our kids are just as equivalent as any other kids in any other district. But also, we need to focus on that accountability, as far as making sure we have the right individuals in place who understand the culture and climate of our kids and different things like this. So I envision our school district growing and just trying to grow our district for the most part.
Okay. We're gonna stay on the board for a second. What plans do you have to try to support and retain quality teachers in the district? We'll start with you. Now you don't want to go. Oh, what plans do you have to support and retain quality teachers in the district?
So plans to retain and keep quality teachers is pretty much showing them that they are supported. So when you have teachers who are putting themselves on the front line to educate our kids, and you have issues with doing it, just making sure that they are supported. We have some bright students, but we also have kids who are distractions too, but also just making sure that our teachers are being supported so we can retain them and keep them here. That's one of the biggest things, is just showing that they are supported.
And just to add to that, the support is important, but I think a lot of people don't know, as a board, we are not the administrators, we govern. So we are not the actual, we don't hire or fire teachers. That comes in through the administrative side. We do the governance side. So we get to actually see, you know, we do see personnel pieces, which is not openly, but we can see, is this person, you know, are they, you know, a teacher who, you know, got their credentials in order, their leadership skills. So it's so much more that I think people just need to know what is the board, because we're the last people to see, like we're the end. We're not the beginning. So the teachers, the greatest thing is what we need to support them. We need to make them feel, you know, welcome. And also, I also think mental health is really big. So when I say mental health piece of it is, we don't think about finding a way or incentive to say, you know, this is mental health month. Do we allow our teachers to have that time off to regain, because they have to take that as well as, you know, take on our children and still maintain. So just making sure we do have service to support them as well, even beyond just the teachers, their position.
And to continue on your last question, what I plan to do going forward, so I'm appointed, all of us in some capacity are appointed to different committees. So I'm appointed to CAIU, which does a lot of like alternative programs, alternative schooling for special needs, to those that are delinquent, that need an extra step. They also run the school at alternative education at different juvenile facilities, one I used to work with in Louisville. So I work with CAIU to really, really hone in on what are they doing with their teachers, and retaining teachers that can work with those students in alternative education. So in addition to that, just supporting our teachers, listening to the concerns at the meetings. We have some things come up. We have some presentations, some comments in the meeting. We have teachers come into the school board meetings and give their comments. So we definitely listen to what they say, as well as the administration listens to and our input as well. So.
Yeah. Okay. For the Prothonotary candidate, describe your approach to collaborating with judges, clerks, and other court personnel in order to foster a cohesive working environment.
Thank you. So our office works hand in hand with the courts. We're in communication with the court personnel and the judge's staff on a daily basis. Again, we don't have discretionary authority, so we don't really do a lot of independent actions without some type of judicial guidance or order that tells us, what to do with a particular file. But our cases are sent upstairs. The court administration has a drop box in our office. They pick up the mail every day, so we see a lot of their faces every single day. We're on numerous email chains together dealing with certain matters and issues. So I'd say we have a positive relationship with the court administration. If there's ever an issue that we have, we can always call upstairs, and we get calls. That's a two-way street. We get calls from the judges and the judicial staff as well, going the other direction.
Well, I would say that to be efficient and endeavor like this, communication will be the basic principle. So I guess the more lines of communication you have, the more interaction that flows, the more positive the outcome. You pretty much laid out the system. I would say that the more interaction you have and the ability to communicate precisely and clear, it would be probably that will give you the best results, the best outcome.
Okay, thank you. Follow-up question for Prothonotary candidates. There have been a large number of concerns when it comes to the offices in the county that are processing paperwork for very important decisions, right? In your position, what strategies do you think that you can implement in order to streamline and ensure timely and accurate processing of all legal documents?
So, we currently process about 10,000 filings per month, which is a hefty number. We have a complement of about 14 staff. We do a really good job with that. I'm not aware of any particular complaints with respect to our particular office. Sometimes things do slip through the cracks. Nobody in this world is perfect. So if something ever comes up, we try to address it immediately. But like I said, I think we currently work very, very efficiently. And I frequently give out my cell phone number. Anybody that has an issue can call me personally, whether it's with a filing, process, some type of an interaction. My cell phone is 610-220-7916. You can call, text, it's on 24/7. And whether you want to provide positive feedback about your experience with my staff in the office, or whether you want to provide, something that's less than positive, I'm happy to talk. I think there's at least one person here who reached out to me individually. I think there's actually two people here that reached out to me individually on Facebook Messenger and asked if I could help out a friend. And help out a friend. And, I was happy to do so. So, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Well, I will say that in any environment, there's always going to be this or that. There be constriction at some point of the flow. He had mentioned they got about 14 employees, and the flow seems to be, as a normal phase with some very little convenience. It would be of the director of decision whether he needs additional employees. So I will look into this factor. Maybe we need to hire one or two more persons if there's a frequency of where you're getting leaked. There's certain escapes of documentation that is not being processed timely. Maybe you want to have regular meeting with your staff and see, communicate closely, and make sure that everyone is functioning on proper base.
Okay. For the school board candidates, what are your feelings about curriculum development, and do you feel that it meets the needs of all students and prepares them for the future? Start this way. Mhm.
I strongly agree with the curriculum development. I think it should constantly be improved. There is a statistic every 10 years, the human is getting smarter. It just naturally develops in increased development. So you have to keep up with the trends. But I think we have great academic directors that pay attention to that. And what was the second? How I think that what?
What do you think about the current curriculum development, and how will you work to ensure that it's meeting the needs of all the kids for the future, I believe?
I mean, we look at testing and test scores. It's not always about that, but just making sure that our students are on the right track, that they're learning what they're supposed to be learning. I do agree with the current curriculum, but it can always be developed to be better.
Okay. Same question.
So, as the current curriculum, I believe you should have a curriculum, but sometimes it's not displayed that way because you have, I would say, some administrators think just with the level, I guess, I'm looking at it from perspective, as a teacher, even with your degree, I try to explain and being transparent. As a teacher with a degree, you're not every year you're not completing that degree program. So we have moved to another decade versus probably when they actually got that degree. So children learn differently, and if you're not providing the basic life skills, the numbers for me is gonna show. So if you're not scoring, if the numbers are not showing from a reading to the math level, then it's obvious that the curriculum base is not what we are aligning up our work to perform to show it. Because you can have a curriculum, but they're teaching a whole different lesson, which doesn't even align up. So we need a curriculum that is going to be based on the basic life skill, but also should be something that will help them for their long-term goal, not just in a setting of the child should learn this way because the child is not just learn, from a hands-on, they're visual learners, so there's different ways to learn. So if you don't have a curriculum that's based on different ways of teaching it, it's going to be hard to display that to the child. And there are programs that are actually like that to prepare the child, for that. But currently, we see it, hopefully the numbers, so it's obvious that certainly not what's best or it's not being implemented correctly. So I would say to that.
Okay. How do you approach, or what are your feelings on the current curriculum, and how can we ensure that it meets the needs of all students and prepares them for the future?
So to be perfectly honest and to be quite frank with you, based off of the presentation that we currently have from the other schools, I think we need to take a deeper dive to see how our curriculum is in line with our testing, because there is no way that our test scores look like that, but we have one of the best curriculum. So I think we need to go take a deeper dive to see if the curriculum that we have aligns with the testing that our kids, with the testing that our kids get. Also, I would say we need to ensure that everyone is familiar with the curriculum that we're teaching. Whether it's a substitute or a regular teacher or whatever the case may be, we need to make sure that our teachers and our substitutes know what they are teaching. And if they cannot teach the curriculum, build that transparency with our teachers so we can see how the curriculum is actually working with our students. Because I'm quite sure, speaking with a few teachers, some of them are saying that our kids can't do some of the work that they want them to teach our students. And in the same sense, we just need to take a deeper dive and see if the curriculum that we currently have is the perfect fit for our students. And if not, let's look elsewhere. So I would say we just need to take a deeper dive.
Okay. For the Prothonotary candidates to begin, and then I'm going to extend this question to the board of directors. Can you describe how your previous experience and skill set has prepared you for the role that you are currently running for? Please explain.
Sure. So the Office of Prothonotary is a public-facing court-related position. As I discussed previously, I served on the Harrisburg City School Board, which is another public office. So I had 3 years of experience serving in that capacity. It's a court-related position. I've been a licensed attorney since 2008. I've got experience in various levels of the legal process. I worked for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for 11 years, mostly as an attorney. And I've also worked in private practice for a number of years as well. So given my relationship with the bar and familiarity with court filings and statutes and the process, I believe that my background and experience as an attorney and a member of the community here in Harrisburg and Dauphin County has made me the best candidate for the position, given the nature of the job.
All right.
Well, I've always been involved in politics, laws, and the core matters in many different ways. My most close interaction, I was in Puerto Plata. I was a friend of the governor, Nieve de Newman, and her office, Golden Mayor, was next to the police department, and the court clerk. And my job there was to do translation because I learned English at a very early age, and I was helping to do translation. And in the process, the governor asked me, "Well, Antonio, why don't you come and help?" So that's how I got involved with the court clerk. It's a little bit different system here because the court clerk will do probably what the prothonotary job is. And when I was presented with this opportunity, I said, well, I have plenty of background. I understand what the office does, passports and civil cases. Filing documents and keeping documents. This is something that I have the knowledge and that I have over experience on how to manage a small office since I have been director of the school for many years previously. I think that the overall experience that I have, and I can tell you, I have met tons of very highly individuals since I was young through my years in the Dominican Republic and living in the United States. And all of these people that I know of, highly individuals, and the knowledge that I have accumulated throughout the years in my experience as a director and working with non-profit organizations. As a matter of fact, I just want to mention this. I always been an advocate to help people. And long before I've been involved with this, I created my foundation.
All right.
And
Thank you.
let me just show the people here. Just one page, the Antonio Carreño Foundation. I'm here to serve. This is what I do, to serve people.
Thank you. So I'm going to extend that to the other candidates for school board. Did you want to answer the question?
Yeah.
Well,
Why don't we start here?
so first things first, I have been on the school board for 8 years. I am not a stranger to hard work. I'm not a stranger to dedication. During my tenure on the school board, I have fought the cronyism, corruption, nepotism, you name it, and I still 10 toes down. I don't mind going far and beyond and going the extra mile to get things done. One of the main reasons that I joined the school board was I attended HAC my freshman year of college. Now, I had did a little tutoring, and to me, I found it to be unacceptable that a student, alumni that graduated a year after me can barely write a complete sentence or paragraph. To me, I find it unacceptable. I can't speak for nobody else, speaking for myself. So that's what made me want to figure out where we dropped the ball at and where do we pick it up at. I'm a strong advocate to make sure that our kids will be educated, and I won't. And that's pretty much the main reason why I would like to be reelected, and I look forward towards continuing my tenure on school.
Well, yeah. One is I'm a parent, and I'm a mother, right? A woman of God, first and foremost, and I'm a wife. I'm a business owner, and on my current position, I hold a few director positions. So it was already in preparation to, again, to leading me to this position of running for the election. So currently, I'm a director over, which you all know, UPMC, so I oversee 67 counties of urgent issues which come directly from legislators. And we have a time frame, 72 hours to answer the question, to know what's going on. So knowing that and knowing the care, because it wasn't just a side of being it from an overseer, I started off as, as a, on the helpline, was really helping the participants. I care about the elderly, the people with COVID, so I got to experience people losing their life on the phone, and we're fighting. So I knew that fight wasn't just, on the job. It was more to give, and I'm always saying, as I give the word of God, train up the child in the way they should go, so they shall not depart from it. So I knew if I could do it for my children, how many other children are suffering? How many other children parents are not advocating? How many other children parents, they just don't have them? So I didn't look at me coming on, running for this election just for my children. I said I got over 6,000 children that need my help, that need my support. And with a loving family, which my daughter is here today in the crowd with my husband, is we do things as a family. And I fought for my son right into middle school, and he was one of the children that were shifted into rolling. But again, my son is now over, he's a graduate, fought from graduate Shippensburg, he's over in Shippensburg, he graduated high school over in Shippensburg University. But if I did not do that job and stand up and meet the teachers, meet the principal, and also meet Mr. Carter. So I appreciate, because there was one thing to say, sir, I need answers. And he was like, well, come on and come to these meetings. And the next year I was telling him, I'm coming on the other side. So that's the passion. Like, I want answers. And like I said, there's so many other children and parents that really don't know what's going on until you're in that school. So that's why it's important for me to stand up, to support, and say that wrong is wrong and right is right. But
Thank
I
you.
will continue to fight.
Yeah.
For me, it's always been about making a difference. I just want to do my part to make a difference. This month I actually made 16 years of me living in the city. I've been familiar with Harrisburg my entire life, but living here for 16 years, some people in the room I've known for the entire 16 years, 12 years. I've now been involved in politics. I've professionally worked for the city for 5 years, so I got to learn a lot of the community coming out the building. I'm working at the help desk in the city, seeing a lot of the community coming in and out every day. I've learned a lot about Harrisburg and a city that I've grown to love. Currently, professionally, I've worked 2 years in juvenile corrections. My main passion is youth. My education experience is what brought me here to Harrisburg was Penn State of Harrisburg, studying psychology. So my background is in psychology and youth development and just behavioral correction and working in my students and really get them just to be at their optimum performance and where I know they can be. So my passion is for the kids and making sure that they have the education they deserve here in Harrisburg.
we have any questions from the audience?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
I've had the privilege to speak to a lot of students in central Pennsylvania. And matter of fact, I spoke to an academy today. I had the opportunity to speak to 5 different groups. And the number one, there were 2 issues that kept reoccurring. The question is for the school board. The number 2 issues that those kids wanted to talk about was trauma and anger. Neither group knew what I was talking about. I did hear mental health mentioned a couple of times. While I do wish for a thriving educational system, my daughters were raised and attended the system. While I do wish, whether they're in receivership or not, that the politics get straightened out. When I asked the question to each class, how many had experienced trauma? 95 to 99% of the students raised their hand. When I asked the question, how many students have anger issues, 95 to 100% raised their hand. My question to the school board is, are you aware of these numbers? And I know that was a snapshot. Is there policies in place? I did hear you say counselors, but are the counselors effective? Because when I speak to the kids, they have no one. They don't think anyone cares. Now, while our budget may say you have a lot of counselors and everything, all the boxes are checked, what I'm hearing is the kids are saying, hey, the parents don't understand, or the schools don't understand. So my question to the school board is, are you aware of these numbers, for one? Is that an urgency in the discussions with the school board in terms of policies and resource allocation? If it happened, what are the plans, whether it's receivership or not? These are dollars. We spend dollars regardless of who's in charge. And resources are prioritized regardless of who's in charge. So to the school board members, and the question is, do you see this as an urgency? Do you think that the students, the district has adequately addressed this issue in the past? Because if you don't address this issue, in my opinion, much of the goals that you're striving for will be very difficult to achieve. You got to heal first. The kids are screaming every chance they get. They are screaming, but the feeling is no one understands and no one hears you. So with the school board members, please address that in terms of, are you aware of the urgency? Are you aware of the numbers? Are you aware of the issues? And do you think the past or the present school board is addressing that now? And what are the plans in the future?
There's a lot of questions in that one question, so I just want to repeat what I heard you say. What I'm hearing him say is, among some of the top concerns is trauma and students that are experiencing trauma as a lifestyle in order to do what they're doing daily in the classrooms. As a school board candidate, are you all aware of the magnitude? What are your feelings on it? And what are your plans, if any, for you to be able to address that growing concern in the community? Did I capture that, sir?
And anger. That was one.
So I am not aware of the numbers, that has not been brought to my attention recently. I'm not sure if you attended any of the recent school board meetings, but we have schools that come out and do presentations based off of the needs of their school. And I haven't yet heard anything like that from that nature pop up. Granted, I am one of the individuals who have spoke to schools coming out and just giving us any type of presentation, because we're not in school on a daily basis, but we don't know what actually transpires into the school. So to answer your question, I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of the numbers that you mentioned, and that is a major concern, and that's something that we can bring back to the superintendent and also do a deeper dive, because his main focus, from my understanding, is safety, and that's part of the safety issue to me too. So that is a major concern, and that's something that we can bring up to the superintendent and to the administration, because our kids should be able to have those resources available to them if they need them. That's the reason why we're all here.
It's an emergency.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm definitely aware of trauma because I do that for a daily. That is one of the requirements of our job. But for the school, it's definitely something that is an urgency. And I know you talked about the receivership, but again, these are programs that we have to vote on. So when you say that, understanding we can fight, but they're the ones who make that decision on what programs come in and what services are being presented to tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 level. Because again, we're more of we are the community, we can fight, but when we're voting to say, oh, this program, you present a program. This program will do X, Y, and Z, from the anger to the trauma and to these things. And you bring that and we vote that in, then it's something presented. But if you have someone on the other end who says, this is the program, this is what's working, we see it's not working, we have to go along with that program. So, and again, it's power. We don't want to look at it, but until you're in your position, it's like working in a job and you're not getting paid. But that's not what I'm not here for, but that's the fight of getting us to that position, and not saying that it's going to be easy to go that route, but we got to get back to our position to say, hey, there is a program, there is statistic data that shows these children had X, Y, and Z, and they came out because the programs we see now, a lot of them, the behaviors are going up. COVID pushed them back even more. You got kids that were out of school that were already behind. And when COVID hit, IEPs, 504 plans were not even being enforced. So unfortunately, our district they took the hit. So until we, get to that position, but if you do have anything, I will be open to share that, with our superintendent, because he will be the one or the receiver at this point that you will speak to and direct to say, the program, it works. But I would definitely be open to have a further discussion to bring that out because
Thank
it
you.
is important.
So I would say mental health absolutely affects your daily function. You can't learn, you can't be in a positive environment when you have a lot of things at home, a lot of things on the outside world that you're dealing with. Especially childhood trauma, it affects you later in life. I'm a product of it, but it's nothing compared to some of the students who are seeing their friends die, their family die. They're out on the street, they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing at that age. Intervention is important. I will speak on the policy, proper policy and programs in place. Funding is a huge issue. We had a lot of extra funding from the COVID era, but that's ended now. So we've kind of hashed out the results of that and the programs and what they've done. Some were successful, some weren't. We do what we can do, but our kids are in crisis. We have situations going on daily, multiple. We have younger and younger ages of our children that are getting involved in things. So I didn't know of, the exact numbers of the trauma. 95 to 100 is crazy, but I knew it was a factor. Our kids are seeing things they shouldn't be seeing, and it's affecting their education. It's of course going to affect their education when real life things are going on, and we don't have the policies, the programs, the counselors, the people in place. So I'm going to continue to do my part to be an advocate for that, for mental health.
Another thing too is, can we get your information so we can provide you with the resources that we do have in the district, if we have any, and to also make sure we see if there's any resources for the home part, because I know sometimes we do have resources available to the families as well as the students in the home setting. So that's another thing that we can do too.
Yeah, I just want to mention, we have a lot of community resources. We have everybody with the nonprofits and trying to get them incorporated with the school district to reach the students as well. I think we all do.
Oh, Pam. Oh, good morning. I'm going to take Basir, Baya, and then we'll work our way over. Please make sure that your questions are concise so that they can understand what they're answering.
In the context of utilizing resources such as the greenhouse and other properties, including things like William Penn, I know there seems to be kind of a delay in action being taken and the right organization being able to utilize those properties. What approaches would you guys use? I know just recently, Rafika and Mary Gillian presented a proposal. What resources would you do, or what would your approach be differently to move us forward so that we can actually utilize those spaces and get, more dynamic programs such as growing theater?
So the first thing to do is to create that dialogue, because just like I mentioned at the previous meeting that we have dialogue right here in this section right here. Then we have another set of dialogues where now it's beginning to become he say and she say. So it's pretty much of everybody coming together cohesively, so we can have that conversation, so we can see whatever the best approach to move forward. Brandon, what was the other part of the question?
Just how are we going to move forward on something? They've been going,
So, and another thing too is to get a definite answer from the individuals who are making the decisions, as far as Dr. Susky, bringing her to the forefront and actually coming together with a solid and cohesive plan so we can move things forward. So it pretty much starts with her, from my standpoint.
Right, and I would just add to that, it's important not to just also create it in the school. So we need to know programs that's on it in the after school setting. Because it's good to present, because me personally, I'm like, we got all these buildings and none of these programs are in the school, with no charge, because these are services we need. So that is something I've currently presented to our new superintendent to say, okay, 100 days, okay. Now, these are the people, we got to sit at the table and we want to see them in the school. I don't think, and they want the support just as well as, we want to see the change, but we got to come back in, because I come from, like I said, I'm a product of it, but, I come from Evangelist Kimber, so there was programs, there was services that were out there that were in the school, so we didn't have to go out. So it's like having that conversation, and I would be open if you send an email, you can CC me on it, because I love trail to say you followed up, they followed up, what's happening. So then if it's not happening, then we got to do what we have to do outside of just the four walls of that school.
Thank you.
And if I can just interject, are there questions for the Prothonotary candidate?
No, my question, pretty much.
Is it a yeah or no?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I was gonna excuse them.
Yep.
The last couple questions are just for school board.
I would invite you all, because I'm going to wrap this. They're going to do their closing remarks, and then because we have an ample amount of time that we've carved out for you all to be able to answer the questions for the people who've raised their hand, just so that everybody can work the room to their appropriate person, if that makes sense. So I am going to allow the Prothonotaries to do their closing 2-minute wrap-ups. And then we are going to excuse them, and I think excuse everyone, since you guys kind of already gave your closing remarks to be able to answer the questions. Does that make sense? Everyone's comfortable with that? All right, I'll start here to the left. If you can give your closing remarks.
Well, thank you all for being here this evening, giving me the opportunity to address myself to all of you. I'm very happy to be part of it. Thank you for the invitation. Like I said, I have grown up serving the community. And this is just what I am. This is just what I do. And at this point, this opportunity has been presented, and I'm urging everyone to stay awake, to be diligent. Just recently, Cory Booker had an incredible speech. I don't know if all of you are aware of it. This is the kind of spirit that we need today. Not because, we're concerned about individuals or this. We're concerned about the nation. We should come together and be concerned about the nation and what is going on today. Honestly, I had the privilege to meet Marianne Berry Trump. She came to my house a couple of times and always said thank you. And I'm very grateful to have that opportunity of being friendly or get to know her in this stage. I understand that from my perspective, not that she ever said anything of that nature, her brother never treated her family that well, the older brother. And I don't think that at this point, the country is being treated that well also. So this is really serious. It brings a lot of concern. Over the years, I have seen the country play out by the Republican Party in a way that hasn't been fulfilled or that have made me satisfied. For example, we can start with the administration.
Thank you.
Do I have another second?
Oh,
Okay. I want to say something about the officer.
In closing, I just wanted to thank, first and foremost, Kia and Catch for organizing these candidates forums. I think it's really important to engage with the community on that level. I really appreciate everybody who's in the audience. I know if some people had to leave, they had other obligations, but it was so nice to see so many familiar faces. Charla, Kia, Ms. Rafika, Rosalind's husband, I'm sorry, I mentioned twice, but I forget your name. I see Basir, Bob Lawson showed up, we got Malik in the back, Yanni, Jim Zuge, who's running for, he's a good friend of mine, he's also running for Court of Common Pleas, Judge Linda, everyone here, all the other candidates.
I'm Anna.
You were giving
No. I'm giving you the say my name. Anna White? Oh,
White,
go ahead.
moderating tonight.
Go ahead.
Anna White moderating tonight. Earlier you heard them say that she never says no. So I mean, that's what a person. Brian and I served on the Harrisburg City School Board together, and I can vouch for him. Very nice to meet you tonight, Antonio. Nice to meet you. Rosalind, Jamie, good to see you as always. So, just thanks. I hope you get out to vote, and I hope you think about me in November.
Thank you. Can we give everybody a round of applause? So again, thank you guys so much for coming. They are going to stick around for questions. I encourage you to ask candidate-specific questions. And we have one more to go at the hub, and the date is next Monday, 6 to 8. We'll wrap all of this up with our last candidates. So we hope to see you guys there. Thank you, guys. Try my best. I try my best.
I remember. No, I'm not sure.
All right.